What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Hop Butcher for the World, and they are out of Chicago, Illinois, and this is their Butcher Gold. So this is a Liberty hopped American style lager that comes in at 4.75% alcohol by volume, no IBUs listed in time of review. This can is approximately 6 weeks old, and I want to give a huge thanks, shout out once again to Hop Butcher for this beer, so big thanks to them. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies they sent my way, and they sent me 12 beverages in total, 6 of which were unique, 5 of those were beers, and 1 was a hop water. And when I opened up the beer mail, I was surprised because there was a couple 12 fluid ounce cans, this and their hop water, and I don't believe I have ever reviewed anything in a 12 fluid ounce can before these 2 beers from Hop Butcher. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I didn't even know they put beers in 12 fluid ounce cans at Hop Butcher. So I remember seeing on Untapped a couple friends check this one in earlier this year, but it was in 16 fluid ounce can. So they moved to 12 fluid ounce cans, and I don't know what the distro and stuff, we'll talk about it at the end, is for this one. But I think this is kind of their take on like a house lager or like a craft version of like a macro lager. I think that's what it is. And I also want to give a quick shout out to a viewer of the channel, Dr. Shut Up, one of the best usernames when it comes to my channel, whether a subscriber and or viewer. We always talk about Hop Butcher. He drinks a lot of their stuff, but lately he said he's been cutting back on the pales from them. So like the IPAs, the double IPAs, triple IPAs, he's been crushing a lot of these and enjoying them. And he's curious to see what I think about it. I'm also curious to see what I think about it because it's Hop Butcher, and they don't release a ton of different lagers, especially that make distro and whatnot. So I'm curious about this one. I'm also using the Genesee Cream Ale glass. I was going to do this for a Macro Monday. However, I have 3 other Macro Monday beers in front of this one. So I was just like, we'll just review it as a regular beer. But I've got the whole Jenny get up on today because why not? Why not? We're going to crack this one open, get it into the glass and see what we got going on here as it goes everywhere. So I cracked it open and it went everywhere. I will say that this isn't the only beer that I'm going to be reviewing today, but you're going to see them a couple weeks apart, or maybe like a week and a half apart. The other beer I'm reviewing is their Gulf Coastal, and it's the last beer I have from their beer mail. So I'm really curious to see how this one is, but then drink this in back to back with the Gulf Coastal. I'm probably going to be feeling pretty good, although this is only 4.75%. That's 8. That's kind of why I'm doing them today. So this looks crazy. This is like one of the lightest beers that I've reviewed on the channel. It is a step up from water looking. Like this is, when people say like, a very like straw golden color or like straw yellow color, that's what they're talking about right here. It's probably gonna be a little bit darker on camera, but in person, the clarity's through the roof. It's crystal clear. It looks like, honestly, an American style light lager, like one of those 3.8 to 4% light lagers that you see. Great carbonation. Had a finger of this bright white colored head that is now displayed to a thin film. Hold it up to a light. Yeah, I mean this, now look, Genesee Cream Ale is even darker than this, but in the Genesee glass, I think it looks nice. However, I think it looks kind of what I'm looking for. If you're saying a sub 5% lager, like this plays the role. So let's get a nose. They also have tasting notes on the back, and I kind of forgot that with the hop water, and I haven't forgot about here. So I haven't looked at them yet, but I'm curious to see what they say about the tasting notes in this one. Yeah, I mean, what this smells like is basically an American lager. I don't know if they're using adjuncts. I don't know if there's corn or rice, but it has like a sweet kind of like malty, like barley. You could say maybe corn. You could say rice. I'm not getting distinctive like corn, but I could see like rice or something being in here. Just a sweet, like crackery, almost slightly bready malt character. There's a fruitiness here, like a gentle fruitiness. I'm almost getting like a little bit of like a lemon. Maybe a little bit of like a lemon and an orange. Maybe a nondescript berry of some sort. It's kind of a little bit fruitier than the style would dictate for sure. And then this like floral grassiness on the, from the hop character. That's kind of what I'm getting. Smells kind of like a fruitier version of like a German Pils to some degree. Yeah, smells pretty good. Doesn't smell like there's any off flavors or off aromas. Smells good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again to Hop Butcher. The malt character in here, for a second there, really reminded me of a German-style Helles lager. Just for a second. I took that sip and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, this is very akin to a lot of macro lagers, a lot of craft American lagers. But then I got this big, boisterous, intense characteristic of like almost a sourdough bread, almost slightly toasty. Kind of wild. What I like about this is even though it's 4.75%, and they're going for clearly, again, like a house lager, something, this would be a gateway beer for macro drinkers. I think if you went to Hop Butcher and all you drink is like old style, if you're in the Midwest, or you drink something like Genesee Cream Ale or Jenny beer, or whatever, right? Miller High Life. You could go to Hop Butcher and you'd be like, wow, I don't want any of these IPAs. I don't like this ale. Give me one of these. And I think it would satiate kind of what you would want from your beer if you're that type of beer drinker. So yeah, so the body on this one though, it's like lower side of medium for 4.75%. I think it's really nice. It's not thin, it's not watery. It's I think appropriate for the ABV, a touch over. As far as the body is concerned, the mouthfeel, it's crisp, it's clean, it's super refreshing. It's exactly what you want out of the style. Up front, sweet, toasty, sourdough bread, a little bit of a crackery feel. I am getting a little bit of like a corny, ricey kind of like adjunct lager vibe, but it's very slight. It's not full on. It's not like some macro lagers where you're drinking and it just tastes like, your cream corn and beer. It just has a little bit of like an adjuncty thing. Again, I have no idea if they have adjuncts in here, if this is just all, basically barley, or all malt, I should say. But at the end of the day, it gives me a little bit of like an American macro lager, American craft lager vibe with a touch of that German style Helles. As it passes through, I definitely get citrus, lemon, a touch of orange, but it's that zesty, rindy type of citrus. It's not a sweet citrus. Middle of the palate, I do get a pop of like a nondescript red berry, but again, it's a very minute. When I'm talking about, it's not like akin to drinking a big 7.5% double IPA from Hop Butcher that just has juicy, fruity vibes beyond belief. This is just a little bit more of like a subtle, subdued, and nuanced kind of berry character. One thing about this is it does have a big sweetness to it. It's definitely lean sweeter. However, the finish is the savior of this beer because it finishes with a nice firm dryness. It's not bone dry, but it's nice firmly dry. And it has a mild bitterness on the back of the palate. And it has a floral grassiness is the thing that I would say that kind of balances it out from the hop character. So I think it does lean a little bit sweet, like 55-45 sweetness to dryness and bitterness. But you still could crush a bunch of these if you pick this up. And this is like your fridge beer and you just, watching the game, you want to down 3 or 4 of these or whatever. I don't think the sweetness would build up too much. It's really nice. It's a really nice American style lager, as they call it. Like I said, this is a little bit of a step up from a macro lager, in my opinion. Yeah, I could down this in like, a couple seconds. It's really nice. 4.75%, you can't tell. Critiques to this one, because, that's kind of what I do is critique the beer to my palate. Little less sweetness would be nice. I think if they kind of balance this out a little bit more. I think either a little bit slight more bitterness on the finish, or maybe just dial back the sweetness a bit. I think the dryness is right where it needs to be, but I think it either needs be a little bit more bitter or a little less sweet. And on top of that, the berry probably isn't stylistically correct. I dig it, but I could see maybe somebody who is a macro or adjunct lager lover trying this out and thinking that's kind of out of place, a little bit too fruity for them. But as is, I think it's pretty fucking nice. It's a nice beer overall. I dig it. And I could see this being like their house lager. They always have it on tap there. Or this starts getting into like grocery stores, or they constantly, this goes from something that is occasional to rotating to year-round. Nowadays with craft breweries, there's usually no year-round beers. If you're like a smaller brewery, it's usually you're just rotating, maybe some of your more popular beers, but you're always creating new ones. I think this could be a staple for Hop Butcher, where it's like we have it on tap at the brewery at all times, and you should see it in and around the Chicagoland area. So Butcher Gold from Hop Butcher, I'm going to give this a straight 4 out of 5. I can't go much lower or higher than that. I think that's kind of where this one lands. It's definitely better than the vast majority of macro beers that I've had within the style, and up there with some of the better craft American lagers that I've had over the years. It's a really nice beer. That's where I'll leave it. Tasting notes. Yeah, tasting notes. I want to see what I did here. Crisp citrus. Yes, I said this is crisp, clean, and refreshing. I did mention lemon and orange, so crisp citrus is definitely there. Sweet barley. So this is where I said this has a sweetness from the malt. So barley, yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit too sweet though. Like it's just a touch too sweet. Like I said, maybe 10% sweeter than I would like personally, but it is definitely a tasting note in which I picked up on and I think they nailed. And then mild floral. Yeah, I mean, the finish is a floral grassiness. And it is mild. Like I said, I think I would like a little bit more of an intensity to that bitterness and that hop character from the floral grassiness on the finish. So when they say mild, it is. Again, if you make that a little bit too intense, maybe the market and demographic they're going for might not care for it. So I think if you could find a way to just tone down the sweetness ever so slightly, this would be probably one of the better American style lagers they've had in quite a while. So I think they've nailed the tasting notes for the most part. Just personally speaking, a little less sweet. And I think this is a damn, I already said it was a damn good beer. I was gonna say it's a damn winner. It's a winner, but it would be even better if a little bit less sweetness. Price point availability. The only thing I know about this one is that it does come in four packs of 12 fluid ounce cans, which is kind of weird. You see that occasionally, but usually that's like in big barrel-aged beers or like imperial stouts or something. So this coming in a 4-pack of 12 fluid ounce cans, kind of weird. I'd like to see it in 6-packs. I don't know if they have plans for that. Price point, I have no idea. I would say for a beer like this, it should be no more than $10 for a 4-pack, and preferably my own personal preference would be around $8 for a 4-pack of this. If it came in 6-packs, I'd like to see $10 to $12, but I think $2 a can is like kind of the max you'd really want to pay for something like this, at least in my opinion. And availability, I think this is like, again, a Chicagoland kind of release at the brewery. They probably have it on tap at the brewery. They sell it at the brewery, might make it into some local bottle shops and stuff. I don't think you're going to see distro of the 12 fluid ounce cans, at least not yet. I could be wrong. So if anybody, Jeremiah from Hop Butcher, anybody that's in and around the Chicagoland area, if you know more about this beer than what I am currently saying, please post in the comment section. I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything. In fact, I know nothing most of the time. So if this is, again, 4 packs of 12 fluid ounce cans, I'd like to see it in the $8 to $10 realm, and hopefully they get distro at some point outside of the Chicagoland area so other people can try it, because I think it's nice. I think this is a crusher of a beer. This is a fridge beer. This is something you'd want to drink, again, 2, 3, 4 cans of, watching the game, barbecue, picnic, whatever. So yeah, I'm going to shut this one down. Huge thanks to Hop Butcher for this one. If you've had this one before, post in the comment section. What did you think about it? Did you have it when they originally released it in the 16 fluid ounce cans? Have you had it in the 12 fluid ounce cans? What do you think the difference is between the two, if any? Probably the same beer, just changing the vessel. And also, what do you think about this beer in comparison to maybe some of the cheaper macro and American craft lagers that you've had? Because again, I think it's up there for me. Yeah, I'm going to shut this one down. Like I said, I have that Gulf Coastal. You'll see the review probably a week to 10 days apart, but I'm going to be reviewing it probably in the next hour or two. And then I'm just going to post them about a week apart like I typically do with Hop Butcher stuff. That's the last beer of the beer mail, but I'm looking forward to. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.